correct, but just like not statistically significant. Like it seems like it was right, but. What is this question?
Okay, so they were more likely to conform to social pressure, so that one was correct. And they did have a higher response on the skin conductance response. So both of their hypotheses were correct. They just found that the VMPFC patients had a harder time interpreting all of this and making it emotionally salient, being able to self-regulate what they're feeling and understand that, you know, I'm conforming to social pressure. They don't interpret that they're conforming at all. They think that they have a lower affective state than everybody else.
All right, so who would like to ask the first discussion-provoking question, Maria?
I'm wondering if people without VMPFC damage who just have poor self-awareness of emotion would also have the same kind of response.
Well, I have to first off challenge an assumption. How do you know that people who have low emotion self-awareness don't have VMPFC damage?
That's fair. That's fair. But I feel like I've encountered quite a few people who, and I feel like it's pretty unlikely that all of them have VMPFC damage.
Well, not to be difficult or anything, but there's a fairly decent sized contingent of, I guess, neuropsychologists / psychiatrists / neuroscientists who actually believe that disorders are merely a more extreme version of what everyone has, and that it's all on a continuum. And so a person who has low self-awareness of their emotions has that because the part of the brain that ordinarily does that is not working to the same level that it is in everyone else. So that's just like an idea that's out there, sort of. Is there really a qualitative difference between a person with a disorder and a person without a disorder? Maybe not, maybe it's a quantitative difference. So that's just an idea.
Yeah.
But we can go beyond that and discuss what your specific question really was, which is, do ordinary people exhibit the same?
Yeah, because it seems like that's approaching it from like psychology from like specifically just a biological perspective versus like more what might be more eclectic, what like, oh, maybe there's some developmental issues in this person who doesn't have VMPFC damage or something.
Well, now again, I can't let that go. Sorry. So are you making the claim that something that happens to a person in their development influences their future behavior without having any kind of an imprint in their brain?
That's a good question.
So this to me is the crux of one of our problems in psychology is that we do tend to dichotomize the brain and then the environment or everything else. And I believe, and you guys are free to believe what you want, I'm not grading you on your beliefs, is that certainly what happens to you influences you, but it does that by making your brain change a little bit. And then you're different after that. So I don't really think you can dichotomize that way. Like, I don't think you can say, well, this person got hit in the head, so they have brain damage. This other person, their father set a bad example. We can't call that brain damage, but maybe it is just a tiny little bit. You see what I'm getting at?
Right, yeah, I guess the question would be what's the threshold for VMPFC damage?
Right. And obviously when you are in have brain surgery and they cut out a chunk of your VMPFC, I mean, that's not really the same thing as living in a difficult family. Although it might feel similar depending on the family. So what is the threshold? How bad do you have to be before you get given a diagnosis, socially speaking?
Well, two things. So, like, I think as far as that question goes, like, I mean, in this study, it seems pretty clear that, like, damage physical removal of like the, you know, that area. Whereas I think, you know, in normal people, it would just be like a big enough change where it doesn't function correctly. But my biggest problem with this is I'm not really convinced that this is social pressure like at all. Just because like all the evidence like points to the opposite direction, like that they don't feel social pressure as much. And like, what was I? Oh yeah, so two of the things that like make me like question this is like, first of all, you're in a car, and I feel like for most people that's more isolated from social pressure than most situations, because like even though you can see through the glass, like it's still, you're still in your own environment in your car. So I feel like that lessens social pressure a little bit. And the evidence from like the lab study and a little bit from this study points to like it could just be an issue in abstract thinking more so than social problems, because if you can't understand that this is a simulation, honking could be like a danger like notification or something, you know, as well as a social one. Like you might not put together the pieces of like, oh, this guy behind me is angry. You might think, oh my gosh, like there's this loud beeping noise, like it must be there's some danger that's going to come to me if I don't get out of this person's way. So I don't know, I'm just not really convinced about the social part.
What does somebody else have to say about that?
I kind of agree to a certain extent. I think it's more like that honking is an indicator that you're supposed to move, like you're kind of in the way, so you need to move. And I felt like they were reacting to that rather than reacting to the angry driver. The way I see it, what the research we looked at previously and this research makes me think that the PFC it regulates, I think, perspective taking, and like I don't think, like how we said about empathy last time, that I felt that they couldn't really take see the perspective of the person being harmed, and here everything that like even previous research that they mentioned in the article points to that, because they didn't feel like they had to like you said, that give the other person something. They focus more on themselves. They really focus on very obvious cues, whereas like they seem very unable to function socially. Like,
So are you saying that in this study that there's a lack of perspective taking, or was that an aside kind of?
like trying to get everything together.
Okay.
I felt like they were, because they didn't report feeling negatively
Right.
about it.
Right.
But their skin conductance response said otherwise, and I feel like that's indicating not that they were aggravated or frustrated or like were responding to the angry driver, that they were more responding to the honking and saying, well, I need to move because this
I see.
indicates that I need to move.
So you're making a distinction, which is totally valid, but you're making a distinction between them reacting to the idea that there's an angry person behind me and I need to hurry up, versus there's an annoying sound that I need to pay attention to and then deal with.
Yeah, because typically the honking indicates you need to move. So they feel like, oh, well, I need to move. And it's not like really a negative feeling, it's just like a cue.
So
that
Rachel,
you
is that
need
kind
to
of what you were?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who was next, but can you see who was next?
I don't know if you still have your comment, but you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, I know I have a pretty heavy startle response to honking, and like, every time someone honks at me, it's like this, like, jolt to my system, and it's not really about, like, that person is angry, it's like, where is that coming from? This is, like, a startling thing. And I think that there's also could be some kind of compound with, like, kind of a conditioning kind of thing, where, like, you have an annoying stimulus, and
sensitive.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
that
more
makes sense
easily-
because when you pull the lever, it stops for 10 seconds.
So that would reward you
Right.
for pulling the
Right.
lever. I don't know who was next, so I.
It's kind of goes along the same lines, but I feel like because there was such a difference in the skin conductance, it does show a significance in social pressure as opposed to something else. Just because I understand the startle response, but why would you have such a, I guess, negative impact with the skin conductance if it wasn't something that was personal to you in that way?
Well, I think you could make the argument that the startle response does jack up your sympathetic nervous system, although it doesn't last for a terribly long time. Sami?
I'm just wondering if another like confounding variable would maybe be the experience of the driver. Because hearing honking, if you're a very inexperienced driver, might startle you more or make you.
Oh, that's a really good point. Did they say anything about
I know that the mean age for the participants with BMPFC damage was like in the 60s, and I know there was only one person in the entire study that was not a current driver, and it was after he got his BMPFC damage, he chose no longer to drive. But that's all that I know about that.
That's a good point, though. Absolutely. Or whether or not they were on their cell phone at the time. I think Nick was.
Yeah, kind of going off the experience thing, not just age, but where you're from or where you drive. Yeah, like this was conducted in Iowa, you said?
University of Iowa.
Yeah, I lived in Iowa for a few years and people are very aggressive drivers. And I also lived in Chicago, and Chicago's, everyone's talking. Everyone's aggressive. I'm like, if I hear someone off, it's not really
Did you say in Iowa they are not, or they are aggressive? They're not. Okay. Interesting.
Another thing is that when we look at it, like where I work, if someone honks the horn, it's usually for safety, like something bad is going to happen. But when you're out on the street, like today when I was on my way to school, someone did honk and he went completely around me. I didn't feel like I needed to necessarily, I felt mad and angry, like this person is like bothering me. So I think that even with the startle response, that would actually diminish and it'd be more of an annoyance, like you become angry, not necessarily
I was sort of
startled.
surprised
like
that the normal control group didn't increase their gap size just to show the
Right.
son of a bitch in the car
Right.
behind them that they would wait as long as they felt like waiting.
I mean, there's so many crazy, people do things out of spite more so than anything, so.
Oh, yeah?
I wonder, I know Eric talks a lot about, like the intentions or like what the intentions were versus, and they had a hard time recognizing the intentions. So is it possible that they didn't recognize the intention behind the honk, like what the honking meant? And so for them, it was more of an annoyance or just like a sound, more so than the, hey, you're supposed to go. Whereas people who didn't have damage may recognize, okay, this, first of all, it's a simulator, so it's not real, and I know what the honk means, but it doesn't change anything because this isn't real.
That's a good point.
On top of what she's saying, what if behind they had a more intense visual stimulus, like a guy actually went like,
Well, and I was also.
So see, I know they had a visual stimulus of the other car, but I
It
was
was
thinking
a
about
Grand
this.
Grand Prix, right?
Right, but I don't think that they could. They made emphasis
A
on
muscle
Grand
car.
Prix, but I don't know that they were able to see anybody inside of it. They didn't mention it, so I'd assume they couldn't. But that's a really good point. Maybe if they saw some sort of aggressive, like visual stimulus to match it.
on top of just.
Or even if they did an interview afterwards.
Since we're on the topic of the red Grand Prix, all I can see are red things around me now.
Oh my gosh, I
Seems like the
didn't
color of the car could give like a bigger emotional.
Definitely. I'm sure that's why they picked red.
Yeah, probably. They're not specific, but.
What do you think they could have added to the study that would take care of a few of these alternative explanations?
Like an exiting interview to find out exactly on what their perception was when it came down to the honking, so that would eliminate as to whether or not it was that they felt that they needed to move out the way for the person in back of them, or if they were annoyed. And also having a visual in back, whether it's like someone throwing their hands up, yelling, giving the finger.
Yeah, I think
So-
that would. I think the visual input would have been really
Yeah.
helpful.
Because
in
then,
that.
like, it gives you a clear perspective that maybe I might feel worried about the person behind me, and I'm trying to move for their particular safety.
Yeah, I mean, what
or-
if there's like, you could have different visual stimulus in the back, as if like one person being angry. I don't know, maybe there's a pregnant lady in the back and she's trying to get it, like you turn around and you're like, oh man, like she needs to get to the hospital or
Right.
something. Like that's obviously different. I don't know.
They could even do something as simple as like that car decreasing following distance. So like that car just getting closer to that person's bumper after a little bit of honking.
Yeah, that's
That's a good idea.
And even
screeching the tires and all kinds of things. Yeah.
somebody else I thought had.
Well, just related to that, I feel like that would kind of confound it worse, because then you don't know, like, are they reacting to, like, there's real danger, like, because he's actually getting closer to me. So, like, I feel like that would not increase the social pressure so much as it would increase the danger, like, idea.
That's a really interesting point, that it does, the danger and social pressure are hard to disentangle in
Because, like,
this.
honestly, like, I'm probably like 99% of the time like misattributing like things like that, but like I feel like when I'm driving, I always think of like some like danger or like safety first, like before anything else. Like if somebody's honking, like that's my first thought, and then if I look at my rear view and they're going like this, like then obviously I'm like, okay, there's no danger.
You're a much nicer person than
Mhm.
most of us are.
Yeah.
I would
Well, I mean, it
say.
might just be like where I grew up, like we didn't honk.
Where did you
unless,
grow
like,
up?
in
Iowa?
New York, but central-
Rural New York. Or,
Rural, yes,
yeah.
rural New York. So, like, if you were honking, like, there was an ambulance or there was like something going on, there was some reason that you needed to honk. Like, there was
Speaking of
never-
honking at an ambulance, just yesterday I was stopped at an intersection and there was either a fire truck or, I don't know, a cop or something coming with the siren and the lights, and the guy behind me was like, laying on the horn for me to get the hell out of his way. Fortunately, I'm able to resist some forms of social pressure, and so I didn't go, but I don't know if you'd see that in rural Iowa. Probably
Yeah.
not.
I'm from rural Iowa. And that might account for my heavy snorkel response to like the horns. It just freaks me out. Like
Yeah.
my horns are really inconveniently placed on my car, and I accidentally honk at myself all the time.
Up here.
And I like jump out of my skin.
Well, just to prove that I am a city creature at this point in my life, I did turn around and give the guy a serious evil eye. Like, I was like,
I just feel like I want to put like some sort of message board on the back of my car that I can control, so I can just put like
I
an
know,
angry
wouldn't that be
face.
great if you could like display little
Like a little emoji or
choice
something.
words to people or shoot paintballs at them, I don't know, something, anyway. All right, so I don't know. Oh, we're getting close. So, so what do you think? Did this study show that people with VMPFC damage are more vulnerable to social pressure? Some of you, those of you who had your, who were on deck today, what do you say? Yes or no? Yay or nay? I'm just curious. It's not a yes or no, right? I mean, there's no right answer really, in my opinion, but.
Well, I think it's like there's a lot of gray area in the study, and I think it shows that there's less emotional regulation maybe versus that they are responding to social pressure.
Okay, that sounds good. Who else? Andrea, what do you think?
I agree with that. I came into here thinking that yeah, I did, but now I'm a lot more ambivalent.
Me
about
too,
it.
actually.
Yeah.
I totally bought into it. I'm a sucker for a well-written study. What about you?
I think so, but I think when it's very like basic like that, honking just a cue kind of feel, and it's very obvious. I think they're very vulnerable to just adhere to the social pressure. Whereas maybe if it was more complex, they would have more difficulty.
And what do you think?
I'd say not necessarily, just because you can't be certain that they're
What they're actually thinking?
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they're responding, they're just trying to stop the honking.
Yeah.
To the person.
Okay, well, so that's